Welcome to The Confident Mindset, the podcast where we explore ways to build a better you. I'm your host, Hamza, and today we're tackling a topic that plagues everyone at some point: laziness. Why do we procrastinate, and how can we snap out of it? Joining me today is Sara, a productivity coach who has helped countless people unlock their potential. Sara, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Hamza. You're absolutely right. What we call laziness is often avoidance. It could be fear, burnout, or even a lack of clarity about what to do next. Understanding that is the first step to overcoming it.
Laziness. It's something we've all felt. Those days when Netflix feels easier than the gym, or when tasks pile up, and we say, "I'll do it tomorrow." But here's the thing. What we call laziness is often a mask for something deeper.
One tip I often give clients is to make tasks more manageable. When something feels overwhelming, your brain resists it. Break big goals into smaller chunks and suddenly it feels doable. For instance, instead of write a book, aim for write 100 words today.
For me, I've noticed that when I avoid something, it's rarely because I'm lazy. Sometimes it's fear of failure. Other times it's overwhelm. What about you, Sara? What's your take?
I love your point about micro goals, Hamza. Another thing to add is celebrating small wins. Even ticking something off a checklist can trigger dopamine, making you want to do more.
So if laziness is more about emotional blocks, how do we start breaking free? Let me share one tip I've used: setting micro goals. For example, instead of saying, "I'll clean the whole house," I'll commit to just 10 minutes. Once I start, I often keep going.
Sometimes laziness stems from lack of energy. Are you getting enough sleep, eating well, and moving your body? Productivity isn't just about mindset, it's also about physical health. If you're running on fumes, even small tasks will feel monumental.
And it's funny. Momentum builds on itself. That first small step often turns into a big win. Listeners, think of one task you've been putting off and commit to 5 minutes of progress today.
I'd also recommend reframing tasks. Instead of saying, "I have to do this," say, "I get to do this." Gratitude can shift your mindset. For example, instead of dreading work, think about how it helps you provide for your family or build skills.
Sara, earlier you mentioned reframing how we think about effort. That resonates with me. Sometimes, it's the story we tell ourselves about tasks that makes them feel heavy. Any tips on changing that narrative?
Let's talk about accountability. Partnering with someone or sharing your goals can keep you on track. When others are rooting for you, it's harder to let laziness win.
Before we wrap up, let me quickly recap for our listeners. Start small with micro goals, tackle emotional barriers by asking, "Why am I avoiding this?" And reframe effort as something rewarding, not draining. And don't forget, perfection isn't the goal. Progress is.
One more thing, it's okay to rest. Laziness and rest are not the same. Rest is intentional and restorative. Laziness is avoidance. Don't confuse the two. Sometimes the best way to fight laziness is to give yourself permission to recharge.
Sara, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Listeners, remember, you're not lazy. You're just human. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might need a little push today. Until next time, take that first step and keep moving forward.
Thanks, Hamza. And listeners, remember progress over perfection. Small, consistent steps beat grand, inconsistent efforts every time. You've got this.